It's the Belleville Sens podcast, off-season update number 2 of a number yet to be determined. As the summer continues, David Foote here, along with Brock Ormond. As always, glad to have you with us on the program this week. There have been some headlines that we have to break for you. Well, they've already broken. They've broken over the past couple of weeks when we haven't had a show. But we're going to fill you in on all the details now. Plus, we'll check in with Garrett Pilon, re-signed with the Senators on a 2-year contract right at the start of free agency. So he will join us as well, get his thoughts on the upcoming season, and we'll get you some info on tickets and more, all coming up over the course of the show this week. How's it going, Brock? Again, it's been a couple of weeks, but a lot of buzz still around town in terms of the season approaching, what the Sens have been doing community-wise, and of course these headlines we're about to talk about.
Yeah, it's been quite the off season. It's been just enough to satisfy for in terms of signings and trades and guys coming in, guys coming out, and so it's been interesting to follow, as it always is in the AHL, and still lots to be decided between now and early October or mid-October once the season gets rolling.
Yeah, absolutely. The news will start to come thicker and faster in the coming weeks, but still some pretty big headlines over the last couple of weeks, as we alluded to. And the biggest one, perhaps, is that there was a lot of question about goaltending. Kevin Mandolese and Mads Søgaard had not been locked up yet for the upcoming season. One of them now has, and that's Mads Søgaard. He's back with the organization on a 2-year deal. And that is great news to see the Great Dane back between the pipes.
Yeah, Mads Søgaard has been in the organization for a while, and again, a guy that's used to the North American game, having played in Medicine Hat in the Western League in his junior days, and he comes into to the Belleville Ottawa system, and he's been kind of yo-yoing back and forth a little bit, which it's not ideal for someone like him who obviously wants to get into some NHL games, but here in Belleville, he's been outstanding, and again, he's battled some injuries, he's battled some adversity, and guys pushing him from behind like Mandolese, like Levi Merilainen, and Antoine Bibeau as well from the year before, 2022-23, who had a couple of good starts. So Søgaard's persevered, and he's been one of the Belleville Senators' biggest weapons, I would say, and guys that Coach David Bell can really rely on and trust in the net, and the whole team can trust him. You can tell the way they play in front of him. It's nice to see. And
he's definitely one of those guys that when opposition teams look at the lineup and they see Søgaard is between the pipes, they're going to be worried. They're going to know that they're going to have to work hard to win the game. And the numbers speak for themselves in terms of Mads Søgaard and his performance here in Belleville, at least. The franchise's all-time leader in games played, in wins, in in saves, and he's only about 60 minutes or so behind Philip Gustafsson to take the minutes played record and the shutouts record as well. He had 2 this year, his first 2 in the AHL, and has to double that to catch Philip Gustafsson. So great news to have Mads Søgaard back. Hopefully he was able to rest up and recharge. He's dealt with some bumps and bruises along the way, and goaltending is a demanding position. So, hopefully he's going to be back in tip-top shape come camp. But he'll be without his partner in crime for the last few seasons. Kevin Mandolese was traded to Colorado in exchange for a draft pick, and I know a lot of people will be upset to see Mando go, but it's one of those, I guess, turning points maybe, Brock, in a player's career where the pipeline is getting pretty full here in the crease in Ottawa, and Mando needs somewhere to play. He's a good goalie.
Yeah, he is. He is, and he does. And Mandolese, it was tough to see him walking around in his suit and as a third string goalie in the postseason and towards the end, but he had his great moments here in Belleville. Of course, that shutout he had in April against Springfield, it was nice to see him have kind of that one big last moment of glory in Belleville. But yeah, the crease was getting a little too crowded, and it's tough to really get minutes when you're basically halfway between Belleville and the AHL and Allen and the ECHL. It's hard, and Mandalese deserves his time, and we'll see what he can do in Colorado because the Avalanche Eagles system is pretty well stacked, and they're chock full of talent, and they're not far removed from a Stanley Cup championship either. So it'd be interesting to see what he does.
Yeah, and we wish Mando all the best, and we thank him for everything he did for us here in the office. A great guy in the community, a fan favorite for sure, and like we do with Igor Sokolov and the next player we're about to talk about, we wish Mando all the best moving on to Colorado. And another big name in terms of the regulars here at CAA Arena has been moved as well, and that's Roby Järventie. Traded to Edmonton, to the Oilers organization after spending, again, 3 or 4 years here, couple of seasons back-to-back, hampered by knee injuries, missed basically all of the season both times, or over half of it at least. And I, for one, was really looking forward to seeing Roby come back and just what he would be able to bring coming off surgery, in the last year. But we won't get that chance because he's been moved. And Xavier Bourgault and Jake Chiasson coming in from Edmonton. And as much as we loved Roby Järventie, these are a couple of guys who really are going to add some depth and potentially a little bit of punch to this lineup as well.
Yeah, Xavier Bourgault, first-round pick by Edmonton, and in 2021, it just nothing really seemed to click for him in the Edmonton system and Bakersfield. So he's now coming here to Belleville for a fresh start. He's got that pedigree of being a first-round pick, but now he's got to prove that he deserves to be here and belongs, and maybe can turn his career in the right direction here in Ottawa. 20 points in 55 games last year in AHL Bakersfield, and then a guy like Jake Chiasson, who he's trying to get an AHL chance because he played most of his season last year in ECHL with Fort Wayne. So getting more than one game in the American Hockey League is going to be absolutely massive for him, and he wants to fit into this Belleville lineup and maybe get third, fourth line minutes on a team coached by David Bell, who's been known for giving guys second chances and giving them a chance to turn their careers in the right direction, like we said. So. And Roby Järventie, tough to see him go. 86 points in 136 AHL games, and you just think of what could have been with him because of injuries, missing pretty much, I would say, about 80% of last season with an injury. So, and he never got back. He went back to Finland, and that was pretty much it for him last year and with the Belleville Sens organization. So we wish Roby all the best, like you said, and we really hope that maybe he can turn something around in Edmonton, and not a bad organization to be in either, considering they just came off a Game 7 Stanley Cup finish.
Yeah, absolutely. So those guys are gone, Mandalese and Järventie, but so many high-quality players coming back into the organization. You lose Kevin Mandalese, but Levi Merilainen is still here, so you expect a Merilainen-Sogard tag team in the pipes. Michael Simpson, the 21-year-old from London, former Peterborough Pete, former London Knight, two-time OHL champion, is in the pipeline now too, and for my money will probably start in the ECHL, but has that pedigree, and obviously if they need to go that deep due to injuries or whatever, that's an excellent option to have. On the back end, again, guys like Jeremy Davies potentially coming in from the Buffalo system. Jorian Donovan making his full pro debut from junior. Same for Tomas Hamara, Jabril Toure. That's some of the big names on the D. And up front, we know who's back: Bongiovanni, Boucher, Cruikshank, Daou, Halliday, Highmore, Ostapchuk, Pettersson, Pilon, Reeves, Reinhart. These are all guys that were strong players for this team, and then tack on all the new players as well. And it's a pretty formidable looking group. It's gotten substantially younger, and by substantially I mean the oldest player last year was Josh Curry, who I think was 31, and by my count right now, Matt Highmore and Hayden Hodgson are 28. So not a huge jump back, but still a little bit younger. And again, just that kind of nod and note that this is where the Senators are going. Let's go young, and let's try to develop a winner down the line.
Yeah, and it's a good idea to have, especially given that the AHL is a development league. So putting those guys in that situation where they're all kind of around the same age, so they all have the same interests, they have the same mindset, could only mean good things for this team. And, of course, David Bell back as head coach, couple new assistant coaches. So philosophy could change a smidge, but as Coach David Bell has said, that his philosophy doesn't change. It's you work hard for 60 minutes, you put 110% effort in, and you're not going to get outworked. That's the biggest thing with this Belleville Sens team. We saw it last year. We saw it in spades the last couple of years. They're not going to get outworked, and if you're going to lose, at least go down swinging like they did pretty much all of last year, save for a couple of outlier games. So it should be very interesting to see how this group pans out. I'm getting really revved up and excited for this season.
Yeah, we all are, for sure. If you're revved up to the point that you just need to buy tickets, you can head to BellevilleSens.com. You can get your season seat memberships now. You can also put down deposits for group activations like the High Five Tunnel, the Bench Warmers, the Sin Bin Experience, and more. BellevilleSens.com or tickets at BellevilleSens.com for all of those details. Did we talk about Kian Washkaruk on our last episode? Did we get to that?
I don't believe we did. I think
it happened the day we recorded. So
yes.
Kian Washkaruk also signing to add on one more name. Played the last couple seasons in Springfield, so he knows Matt Highmore, and he obviously as well knows Adam Gaudette, who played there last year, so a little bit of Springfield flavor. We'll talk about that and a little bit more coming up throughout the program. Get you some more ticketing info as well. But when we come back, we'll hear from the reigning defending most valuable player for the Belleville Senators. Garrett Pilon joins us when we return on this off-season update of Season 2 of the Belleville Sens podcast.
The Belleville Senators are getting ready for another historic season. Are you ready? Belleville Senators season tickets are now available. This is your chance to enjoy all the perks of a season ticket holder, like merchandise and concession discounts, access to exclusive VIP events, division rival bus trips, and complimentary Ottawa Senators tickets. Score your season tickets now and score preseason tickets for free. Be part of the team. Get season tickets online, BellevilleSens.com.
Continuing on this Belleville Sens podcast off-season update. As we inch closer towards the season, and I know it's been a couple weeks since we had a show, so we had to make sure we had a big guest lined up for when we returned. And, well, we've got one. We've got the reigning MVP of the Belleville Senators. Garrett Pilon is with us, coming off a career season in the American Hockey League and getting set to return to Belleville and to the Senators on a 2-year deal. So, first of all Peels, congrats on the deal. Thanks for taking some time, man. Good to see you.
Appreciate it. Very excited to be with this Sens organization for another 2 years, that's for sure.
Yeah, I want to get into a little bit of last season and the expectations for this season, but how nice is it to get that deal done relatively early, and why come back to Belleville? What was it about this team, the organization, that made you want to come back and hop on for a couple of seasons?
Yeah, I think you see a lot of change going on right now in the Sens organization, and obviously they're trying to turn things around, and I think that was a big thing for me coming back was just they're bringing a lot of good young depth in, and I think you can see that in Belleville as well. Like Bones got some really high end talent to be in Belleville or potentially up top. So I think for me it was just a no brainer to be kind of somewhere that has the winning aspirations in mind. And obviously having Bellsy come back was a huge thing with me. Wanting to be back in the organization as well. I was really fond of him as a coach. So and then obviously some of the new guys that they brought in up top as well. Just made me want to stay within the organization.
Chatting with the Sens forward Garrett Pilon. The 2-year deal is not a common thing. At least it hasn't been here over the years. How much of a difference does that make for you in having that little bit of stability, I suppose, and how different was that as opposed to coming in last season and signing the 1-year deal here?
Yeah, it's nice. You can not set down roots or anything, but you definitely get comfortable more with the town and how things are done and the routine and all that with the Belleville Sens. And for me, it's a good spot to be, I think, to help grow the culture and create a winning organization down in Belleville. And I still want to work towards getting some NHL games as well and being that sort of player. So I think there's a good mix right now of guys who are established AHL players and a lot of good young guys who are wanting to make that jump to the NHL. So that's a good spot to be for your AHL team, especially just to have those sort of mix of culture.
Yeah, and you were able to kind of start to implement that with some of the other leadership team members last season, and you'll be able to carry that in now to this season. How much have you thought back on last year, so to speak, and just how important of a season it really was in the grand scheme of this franchise?
Yeah, it was big. I mean, it was a it was a typical AHL season. There's highs and lows, there's injuries, there's call-ups, and that's just part of the job of where you're in the middle of the whole hockey world of the organization in a certain regard, where you get guys pulled and you lose guys injuries, you have East Coast call-ups and all that sort of thing. So I think the guys did a really good job of going through those times and finding ways to win games and still coming together. I think at the end of last year, a lot of guys talked about how close we were, and I mean, that's the same thing I hope to bring into these next 2 years, is just that closeness and that brotherhood. I think that you gain from playing hockey with guys, and it's sad to see a lot of obviously guys move on and all that, but super happy for all the guys that got to go to some new places and continue their hockey careers as well.
Yeah, I was going to say the turnovers, you kind of get used to it, when you're around this league or involved in this league long enough. And like you say, you never want to see those teammates leave. But there, like you say, there's a handful of really good AHL caliber and better players coming into the organization here that will hopefully help to build off what you guys were able to do last year.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, there's guys that I've played against a little bit that they brought in that were a bit of a pain in the butt for me. So it's good to have them on our side now. And looking forward to seeing them and, getting to know them a little bit better as well. But yeah, I mean, last season was definitely a spot where, we can build off of. I think, it was super nice that we were able to, make playoffs and get a win and all that. But I think for us, it's a standard now that we want to set, where we want to be a playoff team no matter what year it is and what happens throughout the season with injuries and call-ups. Like, create a standard where whoever comes to play for the Belleville Sens is like, we're going to try to win every single game and be hard to play against. And I think for us, it's getting way farther. Obviously, gotta be proud of what we did do, but at the same time, it's we want to push farther than last year. That's for sure.
Do you think that that attitude is kind of going to be a little bit more prevalent at the start of camp this year? And not that the team wasn't hungry, so to speak, last year, but do you think there'll maybe be another gear up at the start of the year based on how last year finished?
Yeah, I think so. I think, with the right guys, saying the right things and that in the dressing room and creating that standard is what's going to do it. I mean, the guys, what you come in and talk about on a day-to-day basis, drives, I guess, your expectations of the team. If you're coming in and not expecting to win and expecting to have a bad team, you're not going to be winning hockey games. So, if whatever we deal with throughout the season, we got to make sure that we're remembering that, we're a strong hockey club and that we want to win games.
Chatting with Sens forward Garrett Pilon and getting closer to the new season, a couple months away now. How has your offseason been? What have you been up to since we wrapped up just a couple months ago?
It's been busy. It's been very busy. I'm in that nice age range where a lot of friends are getting married. So there's been a lot of weddings that I've attended, but it's been, the training has been full force and skating and all that. So yep, definitely making sure I'm in shape. There was a very high standard set on conditioning this year throughout the whole organization, and I think it's probably scared a lot of guys, but it's definitely making us put in a lot of work in this off season.
Have you been watching the Olympics much at all? Are you into the Olympics?
Yes, I have. Yeah, I have been. I mean, it's just been on the TV throughout the whole time. I haven't really watched specific events, but I know I know we had our first gold medal in hammer throw, which was pretty cool.
Yep.
I usually try to keep an eye on the Canadians.
Yeah. I was going to ask, what Olympic sport do you think that you would be that you would excel at, and then also which one would you maybe not be great at, but looks like fun?
Oh, geez, I have no idea, buddy.
Some of the summer ones don't look as.
I mean, Winter Olympics, I'm hoping hockey. Summer Olympics. I have no idea. I'm not a great runner. I don't know if I do great at high jump either. I'm too bulky. And then I'd have to train in some sort of boxing. But, I mean, I'm pretty sure those guys would knock the lights out of me.
Oh, so. Man, yeah. It's crazy to watch those athletes. But, we're looking forward to the season coming. Again, we're here with Garrett Pilon, Sens forward. Lots of change on the roster, but some change behind the bench as well. A couple new assistant coaches coming in with Stefan Legion and Andrew Campbell. Obviously, things will stay fairly similar with Dave Bell's structure that he's put in place. But how do things kind of change when you get new assistant coaches coming in? Does it change much for you, for the players?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, it was not having Nate and CD back is going to be a change, but I think you learn to meet new guys, and I think that was something that I've learned last year was coming to a new organization was getting to know them, and I think that's all that's really going to happen is getting to know them as people and all that, and seeing what their expectations are as coaches and how they kind of handle us on a day to day. But it's exciting too, have some new faces in the building and get to know them and see what they're bringing.
What do the next couple of months look like for you before reporting back to Ottawa in mid-September?
Lots more training and ice. Yeah, we're going. We're going every day of the week right now. So it's been a lot of that. Not too much time off anymore. I do have some wedding events that I will be going to in the next couple of weeks. But otherwise than that, a lot of skating and a lot of working out.
Right on. What are you looking forward to most about getting back here and the start of the season?
Playing hockey again. Yeah, I miss the season, that's for sure. I mean, the off season's fun. It's great to see family and see all those sort of people during the summer. But I miss the routine of going to the rink every day and hanging out with the guys and playing games, winning games, and all that. So I'm looking forward to that and seeing you too.
Oh, thanks, Peels. Yeah, and I'm looking forward to seeing you as well, the rest of the boys. And I know the fans are really pumped to have you guys back as well, and again to see how much more we can do this year based on that foundation set last season. So thanks again for the time, and enjoy what time off you do have here in the next couple months, and we'll see you soon.
Yeah, sounds good. Thanks, buddy.
All right, that's Sens forward Garrett Pilon. We will take a quick break and be back on this off-season update of Season 2 of the Belleville Sens podcast.
A new season is fast approaching for the Belleville Senators, and your group can get closer to the action. No, closer. Belleville Senators group packages are now available. Score ticket discounts with a group of 10 or more and get right in the action with unforgettable group packages like the Benchwarmer Experience, Sin Bin Experience, High Five Tunnel, and Player Meet and Greets. Get closer with the Belleville Senators. Explore group experiences online. BellevilleSens.com.
Back on the Belleville Sens podcast, this off-season update. David Foote here, Brock Ormond along as well. As always, thanks to Garrett Pilon for his time, and hopefully he's able to find some time to settle down and relax a bit in between the training and the weddings and everything else he's been doing. But really nice to hear from Peels, and looking forward to seeing him back here in October.
Yep, he's got a good mindset, and again, very similar to that of Coach Bell in that we want to make it a standard to be up there towards the 40-win mark, making the postseason and going deep too. Not just making it there and being happy to be there, but going pretty deep. And Pilon knows what it takes to get far because he's won a Calder Cup already with Hershey. But he's one of those guys that's tough to beat off the puck. And every time teams have to deal with him in the defensive zone or anywhere, it's there goes that man again, Garrett Pilon. He's been just such a hard guy to get off the puck, and again, he's got that clutch gene in him too, scoring the game-winning goal, the first ever series-winning goal for the Belleville Senators. That's something that'll be in the record books forever, and his name is right etched in stone. So really looking forward to seeing him back for at least 2 more years in the organization.
Yeah, it's been a busy summer for Peels. It's also been a busy summer for our next guest, who has been out and about around the Quinte region, leading the Belleville Senators promotional team, community team. If you're a longtime listener of the Belleville Sens podcast, you'll remember our original Get to Know Your FO with this young man from last season. A lot has changed, and Braiden DeVries is back again. 1 year of university under his belt, and now another summer with the Belleville Sens under his belt as well. How's it going, man? Thanks for stopping by.
Yeah, it's been going well. Thanks for having me, fellas.
Yeah. So let's talk maybe a little bit about what's been going on since you were here last. When you were here on your Get to Know Your FO, you were a high school intern doing a co-op placement here. You've now moved on out into the big wide world of university. How was your first year of school?
It's been a nice change. Get to learn a lot more practical things that you kind of bring back to the office in year 2 here. So I think from that aspect, it's been pretty good.
Yeah, and the summer's been extremely successful as far as the community events team has gone. From when we put the request out to have Belly's community crew there, your inbox must have just been flooded. The response really seems like it's been incredible this summer.
Yeah, no, it's been great. The community, I think we really saw it during the playoffs with everyone kind of getting together and kind of lingered over to the summer. Everyone wanted us to be out at events. Seen fans come from all over just to come to see the Belleville Senators in Belly too. So it's been great from every angle, I guess.
Yeah. What did you have a favorite event that you attended this year? And I know there's a lot, so it's tough to pick from.
I don't know. There's tons of great ones, like you said there, but Waterfront's always a good one with all the food choices. We get to kind of linger out ourselves.
You guys were at the Quinte International Air Show.
That one's pretty neat too.
Rainy, but that must have been a cool one.
Big success, I think. Definitely on that second day. That first day was a little wet there.
Just a little. Yeah, just a little bit wet. We're talking to Braiden DeVries. What is the title they gave you this summer?
Coordinator of Community Events, I believe it is.
Makes sense. I think that sounds accurate. Yeah, Braiden is our coordinator of community events. And again, like when you're out and about, what types of things are people I guess, talking to you about when they approach the tent? What kind of things do you hear around town? Are they looking for information? I know lots of people are always looking for freebies that we're giving away, but what's the dialogue like with folks around these events?
Yeah, no, it's been pretty neat. This year especially, coming off those big playoff games there, we get a lot of people just coming in wanting to talk about the guys and the upcoming season and kind of who they're excited to watch, and it's really cool to have those conversations and hear all the buzz around town.
Yeah, it really has grown over the past couple seasons for sure.
Just the seeing the fans out in the community and seeing kind of the excitement, even from people who haven't maybe been to a Sens game or went to a game 5-6 years ago and want to get back into it. What are you kind of hearing from people in terms of just seeing the team and seeing the excitement that last year brought?
Yeah, no, it's definitely evident out and about in the community. Some of these people that, like you said, have never been to a game, they kind of heard from friends and family, maybe from the success we had, and they come by and tell us how they're excited to maybe try their first game with their family and friends, and it's cool to see this growth over the last few years.
Yeah, you're a local kid, like you're from Quinte West, and again, we're pretty embedded with us last season. Is it tough to be away during the season? Like, you were here all last summer, basically doing this, helping get everything ready for the season, and then boom, September, you're out of here. How difficult is it to be away from the team in season?
Yeah, I will say the one thing I did notice compared to my year one here and year two, being in the AHL, it's hard to keep up with all the transactions.
Yeah.
So that was pretty difficult to follow along there, and it's kind of tough sitting on sidelines, but it's still cool to see all the growth that you guys got to experience here in the LCAA arena.
And you can always follow along via the Belleville Sens Entertainment Network all season long too, right? And you were saying this year now, because you're in Guelph for school, right? You're Western Ontario. You were saying you might try to catch the boys on the road potentially.
Yeah, it's not like we're too far from the border over there, so maybe get down to a game in Rochester, the Qs.
Yeah, and I would, again, I always encourage people, even if you don't live near the border per se, if you have the time and the means and you're a fan of the Belleville Senators and the American Hockey League, make those trips and go to those other rinks and see what's happening in other towns and cities, because it's really cool, again, to see that we're on the same map as places like Toronto and Cleveland and if you go out west, San Jose, etc. So that's awesome. How much? You're only here for like 2 more weeks now, right?
I think I got 3 and a bit maybe left here, but I'm excited to finish it out with a few more events here.
Yeah, you got a few more things coming up over the next few weeks?
Yeah, so we got a golf tournament coming up tomorrow in support for the Team HF Foundation there, as well as we're doing a summer party out in Deserano August 21st, and then I'm kind of finishing up. We have Busker Fest downtown Belleville on August 24th there.
Nice. You mentioned the different locations. Like, you guys were all over the Bay of Quinte, and that's something that, again, we really try to emphasize that, we're the Belleville Senators, but we're the Bay of Quinte's pro hockey team. And do you see that are you seeing that spread maybe a little bit further now when you get to those places a little bit further outside Belleville proper? Yeah,
I think when I started here, we did a lot more just kind of Trenton and Belleville area. But with this growth and all the success, we're kind of having people reach out from different townships, some places out in the county and Deserano, and kind of reach out and interested in having us out. So it's been cool to see this expanded reach, I guess.
Yeah, it's the growth has been outstanding, the buzz has been outstanding, and Braiden's work has been outstanding in helping with that. Couldn't do it without you. So thanks for all the efforts this summer, man. I know from past experience that the old summer weekend events job can be a bit of a drain, but you got through it, and excellent work, man. Good job.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, Braiden DeVries is our outgoing for, I suppose, at least the season community events coordinator. Maybe we'll see you again next summer if we're lucky.
Hopefully.
Hopefully, and through the season as well for sure, because I know when you get home you're going to try to check out the boys as much as you can.
Yeah, we'll be here for a few games at least.
Absolutely. All right, Braiden DeVries, thanks again for the time. We will take a quick break. When we come back, Brock and I will wrap up the show and give you a little bit more info on how you can get your tickets to see the Belleville Senators coming up in October. Back in just a moment on the Belleville Sens Entertainment Network and the Belleville Sens podcast.
Don't miss 1 second of Belleville Senators action this season. The Belleville Sens Entertainment Network is the only place to hear live coverage of the Belleville Senators for all 72 games plus playoffs. Pre-game coverage begins 15 minutes before each game with David Foote, and the network is also home to the Belleville Sens podcast, the Belleville Senators Entertainment Network, presented by Deerhaven Farm and Garden. Tune in on the Belleville Sens app or BellevilleSens.com.
All right, getting set to wrap up this episode of the Belleville Sens podcast, this offseason update. Thanks again to Braiden DeVries for his time, and all the best to him headed back to Guelph University in September. I don't think Braiden will be here by the time he'll be here next week, but Alex Pickford, our director of ticket sales, is going to join us next week to give you the full in-depth details about ticketing processes and things like that. With that in mind, perhaps, if you are a season seat member or considering becoming a season seat member and maybe have some questions that you'd like us to pose to Alex around ticketing, shoot me an email, footd, F-O-O-T-D, at BellevilleSens.com. We'll see if we can get some listener questions to Alex next week. We can tell you that if you're looking for season seats and you already know that, you can head to BellevilleSens.com. You can email tickets at BellevilleSens.com to start the process there. Ditto if you're interested in putting down a group deposit for a group activation once the season gets going. David Foote, Brock Ormond here, and also thanks to Garrett Pilon for his time earlier on as well. We talked about how much we're looking forward to seeing him and everyone else back, along with the new additions, Jake Chason, Xavier Bourgault, and Kian Washkaruk, we also spoke about here on this episode. And hearing from Garrett Pilon, too, like the optimism is pretty high around the team, as it should be, with all the moves that Ryan Bonus and company have been able to make.
Yeah, it's going to be an exciting year for sure, and there's a lot of confidence in this group too, because they know they can win in those big games, and now it's just about continuing that momentum on, because it's going to be difficult to really go do it any better than they did, but they have the ability to do that. They've got championship experience. They got a lot of talent. They got a lot of guys that have been in the NHL for a time, like an Adam Gaudette, like Mad Sogard. So and guys, when they lose guys, they bring them in guys that can pretty much fit their role. So like Jan Jenik for Igor Sokolov, Jenik can be a contributor offensively and a big size guy up front. So all in all, it seems like the team is fitting in pretty well, and there's always obviously going to be moves made down the line here too. So
yeah, there could still be another depth signing at the AHL level coming before the season starts, and of course there is at least one spot we know in the bottom six up for grabs in Ottawa. So we'll really have to keep an eye on the NHL camp, because there are no less than 6 or 7 players for me on this Belleville roster that could potentially earn that spot with a good camp. So something to keep an eye on. In terms of things to watch in the coming weeks, we'll have an episode next week, we're looking to get in touch with the new assistant coaches, Stefan Legion and Andrew Campbell. So we hope to have one of them for you on the show next week. I head away for a week or so after that, so we'll get a break in the program for another couple of weeks. And then we're right back into September, Brock, where a rookie camp is set to open on the 12th. That's Thursday, the 12th of September. It'll open in Ottawa, and the Sens rookie team will head to Buffalo for the Rookie Challenge again. They'll play New Jersey, Pittsburgh, and Columbus over a 4-day span in Buffalo in mid-September, and then everybody goes to Ottawa for Ottawa Senators training camp, and players will start reporting to Belleville on the 28th of September as the roster starts to fill out. So it's coming now. We're not far away.
No, it's getting close. Which every time you hit August, that's usually when things start to really ramp up and get into to an exciting training camp like we expect here in Ottawa, here in Belleville and in Ottawa, and before you know it, October is going to be here. Actual hockey, like the games are going to start first preseason, then the regular season, and then we'll be getting ready for a big 72-game season and hopefully a successful one for the Sens.
Yeah, lots of other news to come out in between now and then as well. Single-game ticket dates, the promotional schedule is coming soon, and we've got some really exciting promos planned for the upcoming season, plus some more staffing announcements, potentially some more player announcements. Make sure you're following on the social media feeds at Belleville Sens so you don't miss any of that information. Make sure you're subscribed and getting notifications for the podcast so you don't miss an episode. And if you've got a couple minutes, give us a rating. We'd love a 5-star rating wherever you're listening to the show. So lots more to come. We'll have an update for you next week, including a conversation with our director of ticketing, Alex Pickford, and we're a couple months out, Brock. It's going to fly by from here on out.
Yeah, that's right, and everybody's getting all revved up, like we said, and I'm looking forward to seeing what everybody has in store in the office as well, because they all worked so hard last year, including yourself, including our resident social media guru Alex Smith, who will be back at it, and he's probably already hard at work making graphics and doing things like that, and Garrett and everybody in the office. You guys did a great job last year, and we're really looking forward to seeing what you come up with this season. Already I know there's some things in the pipeline. So, and of course, the team on the ice too, and hopefully we'll see some seats filled in CAA Arena, because it's going to be an exciting year.
And you can get your seats now as a season seat member. Email tickets at BellevilleSens.com or head to BellevilleSens.com for more on season seat memberships and group activations. We'll have more on that next week. For now, we'll say goodbye, and thank you again for listening to the Belleville Sens podcast. We'll talk to you next week on the Belleville Sens Entertainment Network.